All right, Genesis. Okay, let's start off. Um, and then go ahead. Creation window. This one. Go. Okay. All right. Do this. Genesis 1:1. Okay. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. The earth was without form and void, and darkness was on the face of the deep. And the Spirit of God was hovering over the face of the waters. And God said, "Let there be light," and there was light. And God saw the light that it was good. And God divided the light from the darkness, and God called the light day, and the darkness he called night. So God called the light day, and the darkness he called night. So everything. So in the evening, the morning were the first day. And God said, "Let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters. And let it divide the waters from the waters." Thus God made the firmament, and divided the waters which were under the firmament from the waters which were above the firmament. And it was so. And God called the firmament heaven. So the evening and the morning were the second day. And God said, "Let the waters under the heavens be gathered together into one place. Let the dry land appear," and it was so. And God called the dry land earth, and the gathering together of the waters he called seas. And God saw that it was good. God said, "Let the earth bring forth grass, and the herbs that yield seed, and the fruit tree that yields fruit according to its kind, whose seed is in itself on the earth." And it was so. And the earth brought forth grass, and the herb that yields seed according to its kind, and a tree that yields fruit whose seed is in itself according to its kind. And God saw that it was good. So the evening and the morning were the third day. And God said, "Let there be lights in the firmaments of heaven. Firmaments of heavens, to divide the day from the night. And let them be for signs and seasons, and for days and years." Oh, this is getting me tired already. Take off my robe. "And let them be for lights in the firmament of the heavens, to give the light on the earth." And it was so. Then God made two great lights, the greater light to rule the day, and the lesser light to rule the night. He made the stars also. God set them in the firmament of the heavens to give light on the earth, and to rule over the day and over the night, and to divide the light from the darkness. And God saw that it was good. So evening and the morning were fourth day. Then God said, "Let the waters abound with an abundance of living creatures, and let the birds fly above the earth, across the face of the firmaments of the heaven." So God created great sea creatures, and every living thing that moves, with which the waters abound according to their kind, and every winged bird according to its kind. And God saw that it was good. And God blessed them, saying, Be fruitful and multiply, and fill the waters in the seas, and let birds multiply on the earth. So the evening and the morning were the fifth day. And God said, Let the earth bring forth the living creature according to its kind, cattle and creeping thing, and beasts of the earth, each according to its kind. And it was so. God made the beast of the earth according to its kind, cattle according to its kind, and everything that creeps on the earth according to its kind. And God saw that it was good. I need to get on my knees. And God made the beasts of the earth according to its kind, cattle according to its kind, everything that creeps on the earth according to its kind. And God saw it was good. And God said, Let us make man in our image, according to our likeness. According to our likeness. Let us make man in our image, according to our likeness. Let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, over the birds of the air. Let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, over the birds of the air, over the cattle, over all the earth, over every creeping thing that creeps on the earth. So God created man in his own image. In the image of God he created him. Male and female he created them. Then God blessed them, and God said to them, Be fruitful and multiply. Fill the earth and subdue it. See? Fill the earth and subdue it. Not the other way around. Have dominion over the fish of the sea, over the birds of the air, over every living thing that moves on the earth. And God said, See, I have given you every herb that yields seed, which is on the face of all the earth, and every tree whose fruit yields seed. To you it shall be for food. Also to every beast of the earth, to every bird of the air, and to everything that creeps on the earth in which there is life. I have given every green herb for food. And it was so. And God saw everything that he made, and indeed it was very good. So the evening and the morning were the sixth day. Chapter 2. Thus the heavens and the earth and all the hosts of them were finished. And on the seventh day God ended his work which he had done, and he restored on the seventh day from all his work which he had done. And God blessed the seventh day and sanctified it, because in it he rested from all his work which God had created and made. This is the story of the heavens and the earth, when they were created in the day the Lord God made the earth and the heavens. Before any plant of the field was in the earth, before any herb of the field had grown, for the Lord God had not caused it to rain on the earth, and there was no man till the ground to till the ground, but a mist went up from earth and watered the whole face of the ground. And the Lord God formed man of the dust and of the ground, and it breathed into his nostrils and breath of life, and breath and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and man became a living being. The Lord God planted a garden eastward in Eden, and there he put the man whom he had formed. And out of the ground the Lord God made every tree grow that is pleasant to the sight and good for food. The tree of life was also in the midst of the garden, and the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. The tree of life and the knowledge of good and evil is a sanctuary. Tree of life was also in the midst of the garden. Now a river went out of Eden to water the garden. From there it parted and became four riverheads. The name of the first is Pishon. Pishon. It is the one which skirts the whole land of Havilah, where there is gold, and the gold of the land is good. Bdellium and the onyx stone are there. The name of the second river is Gihon. It is the one which goes around the whole land of Cush. The name of the third river is Hiddekel. It is the one which goes toward the east of Assyria. The fourth river is Euphrates. Then the Lord God took the man and put him in the garden of Eden to tend and keep it. And the Lord God commanded the man, saying, of every tree of the garden you may freely eat, but of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil you shall not eat, for in the day that you eat of it you shall surely die. And the Lord God said, it is not good that man should be alone. I will make him a helper comparable to him. I'll make him a helper comparable to him. Out of the ground the Lord God formed every beast of the field and every bird of the air, and brought them to Adam to see what he would call them. And whatever Adam called each living creature, that was its name. So Adam gave names to all cattle, to the birds of the air, and to every beast of the field. But for Adam there was not found a helper comparable to him. And the Lord God caused a deep sleep to fall on Adam. Pause. Adam. Okay, so Adam, he named everything, but he had no helper. No helper that was somewhat the same to him, comparable to him, somewhat even comparable. Okay. 21. And the Lord God caused a deep sleep to fall on Adam, and he slept, and he took one of his ribs and closed up the flesh in its place. Then the rib which the Lord God had taken from the man he made into a woman, and he brought her to the man. And Adam said, this is now bone of my bones and flesh of my flesh. She shall be called woman, because she was taken out of man. Therefore a man shall leave his father and mother, and be joined to his wife, and they shall become one flesh. And they were both naked, the man and his wife were not ashamed. Chapter 3. Now the serpent was more cunning than any beast of the field which the Lord God had made. And he said to the woman, has God indeed said, you shall not eat of every tree of the garden? And the woman said to the serpent, we may eat of the fruit where am I? You shall not eat of every tree of the garden. And the woman said to the serpent, we may eat the fruit of the trees of the garden. A very good friend of mine showed me in Revelations who is the serpent, and it's simply talking about the devil. And the woman said to the serpent, we may eat the fruit of the trees of the garden. But the woman was communicating with the devil, playing footsies with the devil like we do today. Lord, help us. But of the fruit of the tree which is in the midst of the garden, God had said, You shall not eat, nor shall you touch it, lest ye die. Then the serpent said to the woman, You will not surely die. God knows that in the day you eat of it, your eyes will be opened, and you will be like God, knowing good and evil. That's true. Somewhat true. So when the woman saw the tree was good for food, and it was pleasant to the eyes, and the tree desirable to make one wise, she took of its fruit and ate. She also gave to her husband with her, and he ate. Then the eyes of both of them were opened, and they knew that they were naked, and they sewed fig leaves together and made themselves coverings. And they heard the sound of the Lord God walking in the garden in the cool of the day, and Adam and his wife hid themselves from the God, presence of the Lord God among the trees of the garden. And the Lord God called to Adam and said to him, Where are you? Where are you? So he said, I heard your voice in the garden, and I was afraid because I was naked and I hid myself. And he said, Who told you that you were naked? Have you eaten from the tree which I commanded you that you should not eat? Then the man said, The woman whom you gave me to be with me, she gave me the tree, and I ate. And the Lord God said to the woman, What is this that you have done? The woman said, The serpent deceived me, and I ate. The Lord God said to the serpent, Because you have done this, you are cursed more than all cattle and more than every beast of the field. On your belly you shall go, and you shall eat dust all the days of your life. And I will put enmity between you and the woman, and between your seed and her seed. He shall bruise your head, and you shall bruise his heel. To the woman he said, I will greatly multiply your sorrow in your conception. In pain you shall bring forth children. Your desire shall be for your husband, and he shall rule over you. Then to Adam he said, Because you have heeded to the voice of your wife, and have eaten from the tree which I commanded you, saying, You shall not eat of it. Cursed is the ground for your sake, and toil you shall eat of it all the days of your life. Both thorns and thistles it shall bring forth for you, and you shall eat the herb of the field. In the sweat of your face you shall eat bread till you return to the ground. For out of it you were taken, for dust you are, and to dust you shall return. And Adam called his wife's name Eve, because she was the mother of all living. Also for Adam and his wife the Lord God made tunics of skin and clothed them. Also for Adam and his wife. Oh, so God made tunics of skin. Then the Lord God said, Behold, the man has become like one of us, knowing good and evil, just like what the serpent told Eve, lest he put out his hands to take also of the tree of life and eat and live forever. Wow. Wow. Therefore the Lord God sent him out of the garden of Eden to till the ground from which he was taken. So he drove out the man, and he placed cherubim at the east of the garden of Eden, and a flaming sword which turned every way to God, the way to the tree of life. Wow. Now Adam now Adam knew Eve, his wife, and she conceived. Now Adam knew Eve, his wife. That's that's pretty politically correct. Just basically Adam had sex with his wife. And she conceived and bore Cain, and said, I have acquired a man from the Lord. Then she bore again, this time his brother Abel. Now Abel was a keeper of sheep, but Cain was a tiller of the ground. And in the process of time came to pass that Cain brought an offering to the fruit of the ground to the Lord. Abel also brought of the firstborn. Okay, so Cain over here, in the process of time, it came to pass that Cain brought an offering of the fruit of the ground to the Lord. Abel also brought of the firstborn of his flock and of the fat. And the Lord respected Abel in his offering, but he did not respect Cain in his offering. And Cain was very angry, and his countenance fell, his face fell, his whole aura, his soul fell. He looked to the ground, basically. Now, this whole story about Cain and Abel was just summarized in 1, 2, 3, about up to Genesis 4, 0 to 4, 5. And 5 verses of what summarized. We don't know what else Cain did for God not to like his offering. This is probably like 2-3 days. 2-3 days of, I don't know, of drama summarized into 4 to 5 verses. So we don't know. We can only imagine. Ask the Lord, maybe. All right. Verse 6. So the Lord said to Cain, why are you angry? And why has your countenance fallen? If you do well, will you not be accepted? Right? And if you do not do well, sin lies at the door, and its desire is for you, but you should rule over it. So here, even God is giving him advice. This is wisdom right here. This is for everyone, all of us too. Oh my God, this is for me too. If you do well, will you not be accepted? And if you do not do well, sin lies at the door, and its desire is for you. I'm making this video to keep myself accountable. I want to be able to say I read the whole Bible, not just pride, not pride, but I want to be able to say I read the whole Bible. You should roll over it. Okay. Verse 8. Now Cain talked with Abel his brother, and it came to pass when they were in the field that Cain rose up against Abel and his brother and killed him. Rose up. Doesn't even give us a detail about how he killed him. If he smacked him in the back of the head with a hammer or something. We don't know what weapon. Maybe just hit him. Maybe, well, he said it took him to the field, so he was planning everything. We don't know. This is just one sentence. Then the Lord said to Cain, where is Abel, your brother? God's not really asking. He knows everything. Okay. The Lord said to Cain, where is Abel, your brother? He said, I do not know. Am I my brother's keeper? And he said, what have you done? The voice of your brother's blood cries out to me from the ground. What does that mean? I don't understand that. The voice of your brother's blood cries out to me from the ground. It's hard. So now you are cursed from the earth, which has opened its mouth to receive your brother's blood from your hand. When you till the ground, it shall no longer yield its strength to you. A fugitive and a vagabond you shall be on the earth. What's a vagabond? Tools. Vagabond. Nude.
Strong's H 5110. Nude.
Alright, let's close this. 412. Let's go back up and just maximize it. 4:12. 4:13. And Cain said to the Lord, "My punishment is greater than I can bear." All right, he said that to the Lord. "Surely you have driven me out this day from your face of the ground. I shall be hidden your face from your face. I shall be a fugitive and a vagabond on the earth, and it will happen that anyone who finds me will kill me." This is the condemnation spirit that's on Cain. Dang, that's sad. That's a sad story. Cain. That's a condemnation spirit. And the Lord said to him, "Therefore, whoever kills Cain, vengeance shall be taken on him sevenfold." And the Lord set a mark on Cain, lest anyone finding him should kill him. So if you kill Cain, sevenfold, you will take the vengeance somewhere, from somewhere. You will be cursed sevenfold, basically, right? Then Cain went out from the presence of the Lord and dwelt in the land of Nod, east of Eden. Land of Nod, east of Eden. And Cain knew his wife. Well, I don't understand this. That's his sister, right? Cain knew his wife. Because this is the second generation since Adam and Eve. Must be his sister. Can't be a demon, right? This can't be a Nephilim. It has to be a sister. It wasn't really commanded at the time. It wasn't wrong culturally because they had no culture yet. Alright, go on. And she conceived and bore Enoch, and he built a city and called the name of the city after the name of his son, Enoch. To Enoch was born Irad, and Irad begot Mihuel, and Mihujael, Mihujael begot Methushael, and Methushael begot Lamech, and Lamech took for himself two wives, and the name of one was Ada, and the name of the second was Zillah. And Ada bore Jabal, and he was the father of who dwell in the tents and have livestock. His brother's name was Jubal. He was the father of all who play the harp and flute. And as for Zillah, she also bore Tubal-Cain, an instructor of every craftsman in bronze and iron, and the sister of Tubal-Cain was Naamah. Then Lamech said to his wives Ada and Zillah, "Hear my voice, wives of Lamech, listen to my speech, for I have killed a man for wounding me, even a young man for hurting me. If Cain shall be avenged sevenfold, and Lamech 70-fold." 77-fold. Wow. So does that mean Lamech killed Cain? And Adam knew his wife again, had sex with his wife, Eve, and she bore a son, named him Seth. All this time, after all these generations, Adam was still alive, must have been something 100 years old, more. Maybe this is how the earth was populated so much, because people lived for so long. For God has appointed another seed for me instead of Abel. So Cain. I'm just going to check up if it's still recording. Okay. Okay. Keep going. Cain shall be 77-fold. Yeah. 425. And Adam knew his wife again, and she bore a son and named him Seth. For God has appointed another seed for me instead of Abel, whom Cain killed. And as for Seth, to him also a son was born, and he named him Enosh. Then men began to call on the name of the Lord. Chapter 5. This is the book of the genealogy of Adam. In the day that God created man, he made him in the likeness of God. He created them male and female, and blessed them, and called them mankind in the name they were created. And Adam lived 130 years. 130 years. Genealogy of Adam. Oh wow. Called them mankind. 130 years, and begot a son in his own likeness, after his image, and named him Seth. After he begot Seth, the days of Adam were 800 years. 800. And he had sons and daughters. So all the days of Adam lived were 930 years, and he died. Seth lived 105 years and begot Enosh. After he begot Enosh, Seth lived 807 years and had sons and daughters. So all the days of Seth were 912 years, and he died. Enosh lived 90 years and begot Canaan. After he begot Canaan, Enosh lived 815 years and had sons and daughters. So all the days of Enosh were 905 years, and he died. Canaan lived 70 years and begot Mahalalel. After he begot Mahalalel, Canaan lived 840 years and had sons and daughters. So all the days of Canaan were 910 years, and he died. Mahalalel lived 65 years and begot Jared. After he begot Jared, Mahalalel lived 830 years and had sons and daughters. So all the days of Mahalalel were 895 years, and he died. Jared lived 162 years and begot Enoch. After he begot Enoch, Jared lived 800 years and had sons and daughters. So all the days of Jared were 962 years, and he died. Enoch lived 65 years and begot Methuselah. After he begot Methuselah, Enoch walked with God. Oh wow. Enoch walked with God 300 years and had sons and daughters. So all the days of Enoch were 365 years. Enoch walked with God. Enoch walked with God. And Enoch walked with God, and he was not, for God took him. Methuselah lived 187 years and begot Lamech. And he begot Lamech. Methuselah lived 782 years and had sons and daughters. All the days of Methuselah were 969 years, and he died. Lamech lived 182 years and had sons, and had a son. And he called his name Noah, saying, "This one will comfort us concerning our work and toil of our hands because of the ground which the Lord has cursed." After he begot Noah, Lamech lived 595 years and had sons and daughters. So all the days of Lamech were 777 years, and he died. Noah was 500 years old, and Noah begot Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Japheth. Okay, chapter 6. Now it came to pass when man began to multiply. Must have been multiplied on the face of the earth, and the daughters were born to them. We're coming to the part where the demons come to rape the women, corrupt the genome, that the sons of God saw the daughters of men, and they were beautiful, and they took wives for themselves of all whom they chose. And the Lord said, My spirit shall not strive with man forever, for he is indeed flesh. Yep. Yet his days shall be 120 years. There were giants in the earth in those days. And also afterward, when the sons of God came into the daughters of man, and they bore children to them. These are fallen angels. Yeah. So those were the mighty men who were of old, men of renown, uh, maybe Samson. And the Lord saw that the wickedness of man was great in the earth, and that every intent of thoughts of his heart was only evil continually. No, not Samson. Goliath. I don't know. And the Lord was sorry that he had man on the earth. Okay. And he was grieved in his heart. So the Lord said, I will destroy man whom I have created from the face of the earth, both man and beast, creeping thing and birds of the air. For I am sorry that I have made them. But Noah found grace in the eyes of the Lord. This is the genealogy of Noah. Noah was a great man. Noah was just a man, perfect in his generation. Noah walked with God, perfect in his generation, meaning maybe his bloodline was not corrupted by the Nephilims earlier that we read about, by the so-called sons of God that came into the women. It says they're perfect in his generation. Maybe Noah came from a lineage of uh, straight from Adam, and it was cleaner and not an abomination. And Noah begot 3 sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. And earth also was corrupted before God, and the earth was filled with violence. So God looked upon the earth, and indeed it was corrupt, for all flesh had corrupted their way on the earth. And God said to Noah, The end of all flesh has come before me, for the earth is filled with violence through them, and behold, I will destroy them with the earth. Make yourself an ark of gopher wood. Make rooms in the ark, and cover it inside outside with pitch. Don't know what the hell that is. And this is how you shall make it. The length of the ark shall be 300 cubits, and its 50 cubits, and its height 30 cubits. And you shall make a window for the ark, and you shall finish it to a cubit from above, and set the door of the ark in its side. You shall make it with lower, second, and third decks. And behold, I myself am bringing flood waters on the earth. Flood waters on the earth, to destroy from under heaven all flesh, in which is breath of life. Everything that is on the earth shall die. Um, I've heard stories that the so-called sons of God that came into the women also came into the animals. Um, the Greek theology, apparently they had half man, half horses. I don't know what you call them. There's a lot of stories. I don't know if it connects to that. I've heard that it does. Anyways, 18. But I will establish my covenant with you, and you shall go into the ark. You, your sons, your wife, and your sons' wives with you, and of every living thing of all flesh you shall bring 2 of every sort into the ark, to keep them alive with you. You shall be male and female of the birds after their kind, of animals after their kind, and of every creeping thing of the earth after its kind. Two of every kind will come to keep them alive. And you shall take for yourselves of all food that is eaten, and you shall gather it to yourselves, and it shall be food for you and for them. Thus Noah did, according to all that God commanded him, so he did. All right, chapter 7. The Lord said to Noah, come into the ark, you and all your household, because I have seen that you are righteous before me in this generation. You shall take with you 7 each of every clean animal. Okay, here we go again. It says clean animal. Maybe it's an animal with a clean lineage. Yeah. Take with you 7 each of every clean animal. I always see this number 7 for some reason. And my favorite rapper is Seven, if you know him. Sevin. I don't know. A male and his female, 2 each of animals that are unclean. What? What? A male and his female, 2 of each animals that are unclean, and a male and his female. Also 7 each of birds of the air, male and female, to keep the species alive on the face of all the earth. For after 7 more days I will cause it to rain on the earth 40 days and 40 nights, and I will destroy from the face of the earth all living things that I have made. And Noah did according to all the Lord commanded him. Noah was 600 years old when the flood waters of the earth, flood waters were on the earth. Was 600? He's old. So Noah, with his sons, his wife, his sons' wives, went into the ark because of the waters of the flood, of clean animals, of animals that are unclean, of birds, and of everything that creeps on the earth. 2 by 2 they went into the ark to Noah, male and female, as God commanded Noah. And it came to pass 7 days after the waters of the flood were on the earth, in the 600th year of Noah's life, in the 2nd month, 17th day of the month. On that day all fountains of the great deep were broken up, and the windows of heaven were opened, and the rain was on the earth 40 days and 40 nights. On the very same day, Noah's sons Shem, Ham, Japheth, and Noah's wife, and the 3 wives of his son with them, entered the ark. They and every beast after its kind, all cattle after their kind, every creeping thing that creeps on the earth after its kind, and every bird after its kind, every bird of every sort. And they went into the ark to Noah, 2 by 2 of all flesh, in which is the breath of life. So those that entered, male and female, of all flesh, went in as God had commanded him, and the Lord shut him in. The flood was on the earth 40 days. The waters increased and lifted up the ark, and it rose high above the earth. The waters prevailed and greatly increased on the earth, and the ark moved about on the surface of the water, and the waters prevailed exceedingly on the earth, and all the high hills under the whole heaven were covered. The waters prevailed 15 cubits upward, and the mountains covered. And all the flesh died that moved on the earth, birds and cattle and beasts and every creeping thing that creeps on the earth, and every man, all in whose nostrils was breath of the spirit of life that was on the dry land, died. So he destroyed all living things which were on the face of the ground, both man and cattle, creeping thing and bird of the air. They were destroyed from the earth. Only Noah and those who were with him in the ark remained alive, and the waters prevailed on the earth 150 days. 150 days, dang. Wow. And God remembered Noah and every living thing and all the animals that were with him in the ark. And God made a wind to pass over the earth, and the waters subsided. The fountains of the deep and the windows of the heaven were also stopped, and the rain from heaven was restrained, and the waters receded continually from the earth. At the end of 150 days, the waters decreased. Then the ark rested in the seventh month, and the 17th day of the month on the mountains of Ararat. And the waters decreased continually until the 10th month. In the 10th month, on the first day of the month, the tops of the mountains were seen. And it came to pass at the end of 40 days that Noah opened the window of the ark which he had made, right? The window God told him to make. And he sent out a raven which kept going to and fro until the waters had dried up from the earth. He also sent out himself a dove to see if the waters had receded from the face of the ground. But the dove found no resting place for the sole of her foot, so she returned into the ark to him, for the waters were on the face of the whole earth. So he put out his hand and took her and drew her into the ark to himself. So dove that we have now, it might not be the same dove. Might have looked a little differently. Then the dove came to him in the evening, and behold, a freshly plucked olive leaf was in her mouth. And Noah knew that the waters had receded from the earth. So he waited yet another 7 days and sent out the dove, which did not return again to him anymore. And it came to pass in the 601st year, in the first month, in the first day of the month, that the waters were dried up, and the earth no. And Noah removed the covering of the ark and looked, and indeed the surface of the ground was dry. And in the second month, on the 27th day of the month, the earth was dried. And God spoke to Noah, saying, Go out of the ark, and you and your wife, and your son, and your son's wives with you. Bring out with you every living thing of all flesh that is with you, birds and cattle, and every creeping thing that creeps on the earth, so that they may abound on the earth, be fruitful, and multiply on the earth. So Noah went out, and his sons and his wife, and his sons' wives with him, every animal, every creeping thing, every bird, and whatever creeps on the earth, according to the families, went out of the ark. Then Noah built an altar to the Lord, and took every clean animal and every clean bird, and offered burnt offerings on the altar. And the Lord smelled a soothing aroma. Then the Lord said in his heart, I will never again curse the ground for man's sake. Although the imagination of man's heart is evil from his youth, nor will I again destroy every living thing as I have done. While the earth remains seed time and harvest, cold and heat, winter and summer, and day and night shall not cease. Chapter 9 will be on part 2. Okay. Stay tuned. Part 2.